So a lot of people are building Furina right now or farming artifacts for her. And I had this video idea pop into my head because someone posted their Furina build in Discord, and I'm like, oh yeah, I probably could just talk about my build and why it is the way that it is. Now, some alterations can be made to my build depending on what, team I'm running her in, right? But I run this character at 257% energy recharge with Favonious Sword. Why? Because this allows her to work on every team, no matter what team, and she doesn't need any special help, right? That is the number one reason as to why she's built like this. It has helped me out in, Abyss runs. Literally recently, there was a stage that I cleared, and Furina, purely because I have the build that I do, was able to get her burst back up and added her value. Whereas if I was running something like the key, I would not have done that. Now, is this the optimal build? Probably not. Most 99% likely not, right? I'd be very, very shocked if this was the optimal build. But hey, I personally run this build, so I think I can give a little bit of different perspective other than the people that are just going to sit there and tell you this is the build that you use. Because I do think that Furina is a little more versatile in her builds than people give her credit for. And I do think that overall, she definitely has some value. Now, so my build also does have C1, so this increases the amount of teams that she's able to just be thrown on without any healers or anything, right? She just is able to be thrown on a lot of teams now with C1. So that is one thing, but I was also using this build before I even got C1, so just note that. So overall, my build consists of energy recharge, HP goblet, and then, crit damage circlet. Now, to me, this is an okay build. I generally do get the 53% crit rate proc very, very easily while I'm procking or using her burst because her little minions are hitting multiple times. One thing I would like about my build is if it had more crit rate, right? But I don't really, to me, this build is completely fine, and her function is very much so fulfilled when I use this build. And overall, that's mainly the reason why, right? Now, a little bit of alterations. I can use the key on my Furina. I've done it before. But let's go ahead and let's say, I don't know what team I would be running. Let's say literally this team. All right, not this team, but Grizzly, all right? So let's say I'm running this team. I need Favonious for Shangling, not necessarily for Furina. Now, could I make her an HP Sands? Yeah, but you want to know how annoying it is to sit through and, shift around your artifacts all the time? Yeah, that's not something I want to do. I want to be able to have this build that consistently works on every single team, and that's what my build accomplishes, right? And I do think that this build, while it's not, extraordinary, oh my god, I came up with some great Furina build, I do think that this build is out of the ordinary, right? So while my confidence in Shangling right here is pretty low, I'm going to be honest, she might not even recover the energy here. I don't remember my build for my Shangling. We are going to get extra energy, and it also helps out Risley, by the way. And my Risley, he's C2. Generally, when I see guides for Risley, they're like, oh yeah, use his burst when you have it at the end of a rotation, right? It's basically like sort of a Chaska Kanich situation where you just use your burst when you have it. And overall, that is generally what we see. So let's go ahead and let's start off. So she would have procs the Favonious there, right? So we're able to start off with this now. All right, we're not gonna, okay, well, Capybara. Okay, we're attacking. Oh yeah, we're attacking. Yeah. Oh yeah. Oh, get him. Get him. Oh yeah. Yeah. Get that boy. All right. So now we're done. You see, Furina, even with the high energy recharge that I have on her, didn't necessarily recover all of her energy. Would she have? Yeah, because Risley would have gained some particles and stuff, but he died. But I guess I'll just go ahead and restart the rotation. But let's go ahead and let's look at Shangling's energy. Oh, wow. Would you look at that? This character doesn't have any energy. It's great. So on a team like this, what I can do at the start of a rotation, instead, let's say you're going into Abyss and you're like, all right, I need to start the rotation. I do have artifacts on her, right? Yeah, I do. So let's say you're starting an Abyss like this, right? Or maybe not you're starting it, but you're doing a second rotation like this. And your Shangling isn't that, well, she doesn't have as much energy recharge as you would like, even though she has 223 energy recharge, just a little bit. So even though she has 223% energy recharge, she doesn't have as much energy as you would like. Well, what you can do is you can just go ahead, depending on your crit luck. Yep, there you go. Oh, I did not mean to do that. That one was a mistake. All right. Well, we'll have this, and then you have Bennett, and then you have, okay. Okay, and you can see Shangling's energy, but a quick switch in, a quick swap out. Yep, there we go. Look at that. You know, in a situation of dire need, you know, she comes through. A little bit weird, but hey, it worked, right? It worked. You can't deny it. And then, obviously, Furina's burst is up, and we are ready to go and restart the rotation. Let's just go ahead and restart it. Why not? All right. Boom, boom, boom. All right, let's grab that again. Okay, okay, we're going to die. Okay, I had to get out of there. We didn't even recover our energy on Shangling. So, this is more around a Shangling fault, but, I mean, you want to know what happens if I don't have Favonious on this team? Yeah, in theory, the key is a great option for this team, right? But, you know, like, the Favonious Sword here gives me the best shot that Shangling will have her energy, right? And I could have given her Raiden's Lance, but overall, we can see, you know, energy-hungry characters like Shangling will want their energy, and Furina will help with that with my build, right? So that's one reason to why I would want to give Furina so much energy recharge and still give her Favonious, right? And, you know, we can go ahead and we can check out some more teams, and I guess I'll try out probably Mavuika's team, and I'll just go ahead and grab this, and we'll go ahead and give her the key. I haven't actually used this team in a bit. Now, this team is a little bit different, right? So let's go ahead and let's change her to the key. It is a lot easier to switch a weapon than to switch an artifact, so yeah, because once you switch an artifact, there's no visual cue that, oh, I switched an artifact, right? Whereas if you switch out of Favonious, one, you're going to see that you're not generating particles. You're either going to think you're unlucky and then, you know, 10 seconds later realize, oh, I forgot to switch my weapon. Whereas if you're using an HP Sands, then you're going to be like, oh man, bro, why am I not getting my energy back? Why? And then, you know, you're going to sit there and be like, I have the artifacts on her and stuff, right? Okay, so I haven't actually used this team yet. So let's go ahead and let's see. Boom. E-skill. Yep, thanks. Yeah. All right, there we go. And this way we go. And all right, so let's see if we do end up with our thing correct. Let's just go ahead. We're not gonna, you know, focus too much on it. Sure, Mavuika's damage increased. All right, let's see. Are we gonna have our energy? Well, Bennett didn't have his energy, but that's because I forgot to do that. All right, there we go. Woo. And oh no, Furina, what happened? No, it's almost like she needs an insane amount of energy recharge, otherwise she's gonna fail you. And especially if you're using her how I'm using her, where she's going at the last slot, you know, because that generates less particles. The reason why I'm using her in the last slot right before I switch into Mavuika instead of taking advantage of her full, like, duration buff is because using her in the last slot allows me to guarantee that that enemy will be applied with Pyro for Mavuika's burst. Because Bennett very many times has gotten rid of the Hydro application that Furina has done when I use them as the last character. So that is why I use Furina here, because it's a guaranteed extra damage there. While, yeah, sure, I could squeak out damage if I just wait and do stuff. Generally, I'm not going to want to wait and do my rotation. Not that I'm using Furina with Mavuika anymore anyways. But, hey, that's just the way that I played, you know, Furina with Mavuika. And, you know, we saw there, man, she just didn't have that energy. She, like, people underrate how much this actually is. She is generating no particles for herself on field. So when you only have about, what, it was 190% energy recharge, you're gonna run into some issues, right? That is gonna give you some issues. I think people do overlook that quite a lot. Like, genuinely, there are gonna be issues if you don't have Furina's burst active. And the thing is, if you don't get Furina's burst active, you lose out on her entire purpose, really, especially on a Mavuika team where her damage is just so high that you'd rather take the DPS loss to consistently get that Furina burst, right? You would rather take that. Now, we're talking about also buffing Mavuika with a weapon, right? But overall, I don't want to have to, you know, oh, sorry, Furina didn't have her burst active. Oh, sorry, man. That one was on me, you know. Yeah, I don't want to play that game. I'm going to play the game where this character sits there in the party, and I know, I can guarantee that this character is going to have her burst active. She is going to be able to dominate anything that I put her in. No matter what team I have this character in, she will never be the one failed. And that is the most important thing to me, and that is why I build Furina the way that I do, and that is why her build looks like this. And yeah, because I figured I would make a video on this because I do genuinely get questions like, oh, why do you have so much energy recharge on your Furina? Whenever I'm streaming and I like show my Furina build, people will legitimately be like, why do you have so much energy recharge? And it's like, that is the reason. Because like, no matter what team I put this character in now, she's going to work exactly how I want her to. And that is what matters most to me and nothing else. Like her off-field damage is good, but I do not care if that means I might miss her burst. I'm going to be honest. I want to guarantee that I have that burst active every single rotation. Nothing. I want to have no issues. And also, this character being a battery is really strong for characters like Bennett also. While we are using Mavuika and, Bennett in the same team, they can recover a lot of energy together, right? I do still think that Furina does help out if I wanted to, get Bennett's energy. Let's say I forgot to do Bennett's E-skill. Well, Furina can at least subsidize a little bit of the energy that I lost from not doing Bennett's E-skill. I don't think it'll be as much, but it'll certainly be good. But it'll certainly help at least, right? And that is one thing. It adds to even more of her support abilities, right? I do think that this character genuinely is probably, like, to me, in terms of best build, this is the best build. And like, obviously, we talked about, I definitely would want more crit rate on my Furina. I feel like that is where I fall flat. But other than that, I love my build. It works fantastic, and I recommend other people to use it. So, hey, if you, I'll just go through it one by one here. If you, are summoning for Furina, maybe, aim for this kind of build. If you like what I say, and you're like, oh yeah, that sounds, good, and that's what you would want to do with your Furina, then hey, go ahead and do that, because I do think that this build genuinely is one of her better builds. I've been using this build for like a year at this point, and like, I haven't had any issues. It's not like my DPSs are failing because Furina is not doing enough all-field damage, right? Like, this character is still good, and her 100% buffing that I get up to with her C1 is really, really strong to just slap on a team and know that it's going to be there. So to me, this build is the best build, but I know a lot of people would not agree with that, just because I know a lot of people want Furina to be able to do as much damage, and they're like, oh no, that you'll never have energy issues with Furina. And it's like, well, in this issue that I had where Furina wasn't on field, or I killed the enemy too fast with Mavuika, and Furina wasn't able to generate basically any hydro particles, well, then she's got nothing. She has nothing, no energy. And there are not just Mavuika teams, right? There are other teams that end up like that in Spiral Abyss. And knowing that I can basically start the chamber with this character, and she will basically be able to get her energy up to full within like 3 seconds, is really, really nice to have in your back pocket, and not, and I don't think that trade-off of getting more damage is worth it, right? So overall, yeah, that's my Furina build. That's why I run her like this. That's why I have so much energy recharge. That's why a lot of stuff I do with her. So yeah, if you enjoyed this video, make sure to subscribe. If you really enjoyed the video, feel free to become a member. With $5 a month, you guys can get access to videos as soon as they're ready to be published, and typically like 8 hours early, I would say. So yeah, thank you guys for watching. Make sure to subscribe. Goodbye.